In this video, we'll discuss, is your life disorganized? Now that we've addressed the clutter that builds up in the home and the workplace to cause disorganization, chaos, and poor mental health, it's time to look more closely at your life. It's very likely that your life is also suffering from some severe disorganization if you feel as if you're lacking control. What is a cluttered life? As we've already said earlier in this video course, we tend to think of clutter as a physical thing. However, all too often it can be mental or emotional too. When your life is cluttered, all that mess and disorganization is invisible. It's inside your head. Yet that doesn't make it any less stressful to deal with. In fact, it makes it even more challenging to manage. What does a disorganized life look like? How do you know if you have one? There are several signs that you can look out for to tell you that you're suffering from this problem. Firstly, you have a schedule that is overloaded with activities. You seem to be busy for every single hour of the day, with no time to spend on yourself. You feel as if you're constantly at the beck and call of other people, whether those people are friends or family members, and you struggle to fit all of your obligations, commitments, and activities into your already strained lifestyle. You feel as if you have absolutely no leisure time, when you can unwind and enjoy yourself. Or when you do manage to grab a few moments for yourself, you feel guilty that you're not tackling the many other tasks that you have lined up ready to go. You feel under increasing pressure to be a better person, to improve yourself, and to fit the mold that the media tells us we should be in. You feel guilty when you don't have the time to cook an elaborate vegan meal from scratch, or fail to get to the gym again this week, or didn't manage to get to your foreign language class so you could broaden your horizons. If you can relate to any or all of this, you have a disorganized life that needs to be decluttered urgently. Why do our lives become disorganized? There are several reasons why your life may have become disorganized. Not all will apply to everyone, but if you're experiencing the feelings we've outlined above, you'll almost certainly recognize some of them. You're neglecting your own basic needs and are therefore making poor decisions. This can lead to stress, anxiety, and obsessive thoughts that prevent you from focusing on more important areas of your life. You have a FOMO, or fear of missing out. This is a very 21st century problem and a very common one. It's something that propels you to sign up to the gym when you simply don't have time. You take an extra class even when you're struggling with the ones you have. You scroll through Facebook for another hour rather than going to bed. Or you head out for a night at a club with friends even though you know you have to get up to work early the next morning. While FOMO comes from a place of wanting to enjoy a better life, it can end up making your life worse by adding more stress, anxiety, and distractions. You struggle to let go. This may apply to both physical and emotional baggage. Even if something is causing you pain or is making you unhappy, you still struggle to release it, and this causes you to dwell on it over and over again. You haven't learned what enough means. You still feel that you somehow have to be better, to be more perfect, to acquire more things so you can be worthy of acceptance, love, and praise. You haven't grasped the concept that good is good enough. And this leads you to obsess over things in your head that make you unhappy, unfocused, and non-productive. You can't say no. Some people just don't feel able to put their foot down, even when they really don't want to do something. They're too worried about the reaction they'll receive, or about upsetting someone and losing their friendship, even if they stand up for what they want and need. You feel obliged to do things, even when they aren't your responsibility. You haven't grasped the idea that delegation is a good thing. And you worry that you'll lose your importance if you allow someone else to take on a job that has always been yours. The problems of an overloaded life. When your life is overloaded, a host of problems can follow. The disorganization of an overpacked schedule leads you to suffer from poor mental health. You become increasingly anxious and stressed about where you're going to fit everything into your crowded day, week, or month. You also end up with no quality time for yourself, something that everyone needs from time to recharge their batteries. When every second of the day is accounted for, you just don't have enough time to wind down, relax, and let go of all the frustrations that you've encountered. Falling into bed at the end of a long, hard day will often lead to poor quality sleep as you struggle to process all the stresses and strains you've gone through. This only serves to make it even more difficult to find the energy and motivation to cope with the challenges that life throws at you. When your life is disorganized, you'll also find that your relationships become increasingly strained. Eventually, you'll become more frustrated, more angry, and more likely to snap at your family members and friends. This will increase tension at home and make life even more stressful and difficult. In this video, we'll talk about a guide to organizing your life. Are you ready to take control of your life once more and learn how to organize it so you can enjoy better mental well-being? Then keep watching to discover a few top tips. How to reduce your obligations and commitments. The first step is to look at your various obligations and commitments. Do you really need all of them in your life? Are there some activities that you could quit to give yourself more time to unwind or spend with those who really matter? It's time to weed out anything that you can't live without or that makes you anything less than happy. If it isn't necessary and you don't love it, and it's possible to ditch it, then let it go. Next, be selective when taking on any new activities or pastimes. Before you agree to anything or leap right into something new, take the time to think about it. Do you really want to do this new activity? Will it add something positive to your life? Or will it drain on your emotional resources? Make a decision based on your answers to those questions. A guide to reducing social media use. Social media is proven to be one of the biggest causes of FOMO. It stands to reason that we look at other people's profiles and often feel jealous of the lives that other people seem to be living. However, it's important to remember that in most cases, people present the image of their lives that they want others to see, rather than depicting the real truth of their situation. A family member can appear to be perfect on a Facebook profile, but the members could all be suffering on the inside, without those scrolling past recognizing it. Never compare your inside to other people's outside. If you're finding social media platforms are causing you to struggle mentally, or you're finding that you're spending more and more time scrolling through pages rather than getting on with your life, it's time to reduce your social media usage. How do you get started with this? Short of actually deleting your profiles, you might find that a simple place to begin is simply to sign out of your profiles when you've finished checking them. If you have to go through the rigmarole of signing in every single time you want to check your notifications, you'll soon begin to reduce your usage. If this doesn't work for you, you should try leaving your phone in another room or in an inaccessible location for part of the day, and never keep it by the bed at night. This will help you to limit the amount of time you spend on social media. How to reconsider your routines. Are your routines causing you mental strain? Then it's time to give them an overhaul. It can be all too tempting to stay stuck in a rut because change is scary, but that's rarely a good cause of action when you've lost control of your life. Take a look at how you spend each day. Is it working for you? Which elements are causing you to struggle? How could you move them around to make life easier or less stressful? For example, if you've scheduled a workout at the gym before you go to the office, but you're struggling to get out of bed because you're so exhausted, and then find it difficult to focus at work for the rest of the day because you lack energy, it's time to look at how you can make adjustments. Consider moving the gym to after work or even to your lunch hour, and take some extra time in bed so you can be well rested and increase your productivity at work. Just say no. One of the best things you can do to organize your life more effectively is to just say no. Don't be afraid of hurting other people or losing their friendship or love. Nobody who cares for you will think any worse of you if you back out of an ongoing commitment that you don't have time for, or if you refuse to attend an event or participate in an activity because you simply can't fit it into your life. Saying no can be very difficult, especially if you've never really done it before. However, once you start practicing, you'll find it very liberating. You will never need to accept an invitation that you don't want to accept again. You'll never need to go to an event that you dread or participate in a time-consuming activity just because someone else wants you to. Sometimes it's okay to put yourself first, and when you're trying to take back control of your life and improve your mental well-being, it's perfectly acceptable to decline politely. In this video, we'll discuss, could I benefit from a friendship organization? All too often, we end up in friendships that cause us more problems than happiness. Most people will recognize the scenario of a so-called friend who only seems to be interested in their own problems, who always seems to be asking you for help, but then never seems to be around when you need their assistance in return. Many people are extremely aware of having a friend who only ever seems to come around when they want something, or when they want to complain and whine. If you have a friend who brings you down rather than lifts you up, it's possible that you could benefit from some friendship organization. Could some of your friendships be causing your problems? Cluttered friendships are one final facet of a cluttered life that can lead to a disorganized mind and poor mental well-being. If you constantly feel as if you're having to put someone else first without that person having the same approach to you, you're probably in a toxic friendship. It's human nature to try to cling on to the friendships that we've formed, but sometimes those friendships simply aren't worth saving. When a friendship brings you misery and not happiness, it's time to consider letting it go in order to declutter your life and boost your mental health. What is a toxic friendship? How do you recognize if you're in a toxic friendship? It can be hard to spot a toxic friend. It's possible that they were once a best friend who was kind and helpful towards you in the past. It can be difficult to see how a relationship like that can deteriorate over time, and so you might overlook the telltale signs of a toxicity for a long time. Often, jealousy is the root cause of a toxic friendship. Perhaps you got a better paid job, found a new partner, started a family, or lost weight. Your friend may find it hard to cope with their own feelings of inadequacy and may begin to put you down, treat you badly, or even blank you. Label your friendships for clarity. Labeling your friendships will bring you more clarity in your life. You can divide your friendships into two groups: drains or radiators. Does your friend bring warmth into your life and make you feel happy and good about yourself? If they do, that's great. They're a radiator. However, if they drain all the love, positivity, strength, and happiness from your life, it's a toxic friendship, and your so-called friend is a drain. Once you know which of your friends are drains, you can take action. You may be able to cut your toxic friend completely out of your life. If they are someone you only saw irregularly anyway, you can just stop texting, calling, and arranging meetups. You can delete them from your social media. Yes, you'll probably feel awkward and guilty, but it's for your own good. On the other hand, if it's someone that you're still going to see regularly, you may need to take a different course of action. You can hide them on social media, so you aren't subjected to their negativity on a daily basis. Unfollowing someone means that they won't be aware that you can't see their post, but you'll be free of the toxicity and back in control. Since you can't change a toxic friend's personality, you'll need to change how you react to them. Don't allow them to make you feel small or bad about yourself. Instead, tell yourself that your friend has the problem and that there's nothing wrong with you. It can be slow progress, but over time, you will gain back power and control. If it's possible, try to reduce the amount of time you spend with your toxic friend. If you're in the same place at the same time, try to form a buffer with other people. On the other hand, if this person constantly puts you down in front of others, just walk away from the group when she approaches, or reply with a non-aggressive, calm response that turns any snide comments back on the giver. We naturally want to gain praise and acceptance from the people in our lives, but if you have a toxic friend, you can end up feeling much worse about yourself. When you've been hurt in this way, try listing all the things you feel good about yourself for. Write them down and read the list whenever you feel this way. How to feed the positive relationships in your life. Once you've identified which of your friends are radiators, you need to feed those positive relationships so they grow and thrive. Spend time focusing on those good friendships. Try to spend as much time as possible around people that make you feel good about yourself. How can you foster those positive relationships? Here's some expert advice to point you in the right direction. Take time to listen. Listening skills are vital when it comes to boosting your friend's self-esteem and feelings of self-worth. Not only do you need to listen to what your friend has to say, but you also need to work to understand what they are communicating to you so that your interactions can be as effective and successful as possible. Be present. Just because you're physically with someone doesn't mean that you're really there. If you're dwelling on something else instead of really listening to what your friend is telling you, or if your mind is wandering instead of really paying attention to what they have to say, you aren't fostering a positive relationship. The connection you make with your friends is the foundation of that friend's success. So you need to devote enough time, effort, and energy into building up and developing the relationship so that it can grow and thrive. Give feedback and take it in return. Be prepared to offer advice, but also be willing to take it from your friend. This is a key part of a strong friendship. Be trusting. It takes courage to trust someone. However, whatever your baggage, it's important to remember that the more you trust in your friend, the more open you are to positivity. In this video, we'll talk about clearing your mind, the truth about happiness. The key to happiness is to clear your mind of all the mess and clutter that is blocking and impeding your mental well-being. But how do you go about clearing your mind? How do you even tell that your mind is disorganized in the first place? The signs of a disorganized mind. How do you know if your mind is disorganized? There are a few telltale signs to look out for: stress, anxiety, poor focus, lack of motivation, insomnia, low productivity. If you're experiencing any or all of these symptoms on a regular basis, you're almost certainly suffering from a disorganized mind. The benefits of an organized mind. The steps that we've outlined earlier in this video course about eliminating the clutter from your relationship, life, workplace, and home can all help you to reap the benefits of a well-organized mind. So what are those benefits? Perhaps the biggest advantage is the sense of calm and well-being that you'll experience once all the chaos is freed from your head. Once you've gotten rid of all the mess and clutter, you'll be able to gain a renewed focus on the things that really matter. You'll be able to increase your productivity by being able to concentrate on the task in hand without any unwanted distractions due to the ideas and thoughts churning around in your head. You'll also become more decisive. Once your mind is clear, you'll learn to gain more control over the choices that you make in every area of your life, and you'll learn how to take those decisions wisely and with clarity. You'll soon be able to see the way forward clearly, and we'll be able to move in that direction without any concerns or distractions getting in the way. Your stress will be greatly reduced too once you've weeded out all the unnecessary trash in your head. When you're no longer permanently in fight or flight mode, you'll be better able to relax, unwind, and take time out for self-care. This will allow you to enjoy a better well-being, both physically and mentally, as your body adapts to a more laid-back lifestyle. Finally, the most important benefit of all is that you'll achieve greater happiness. When you have control over your life, you can experience inner peace and positivity. In turn, when you feel happy and positive, you're in a good place to get even more out of life, feeding a positive feedback loop that will make your day-to-day existence a much better one. In this video, we'll discover a guide to an organized mind. So, now that you understand all the benefits of an organized mind, you've got some ideas of the areas of your life that can be improved by taking back this control. You need to know how to get to that point. We've already looked at the practical steps that you can take at home, at work, and in your personal life to get rid of the chaos and clutter. This can make life simpler and happier. But how can you take practical steps to organize your mind? Here are a few top tips to get you started. Make lists and journals. Many people find that making lists or starting a journal is a good way to clear their minds. It will get rid of all the clutter that prevents them from moving forward in their lives. You may find that you're unable to focus on the tasks that you need to accomplish because they seem to be running over and over in your head. Composing a list of all the jobs and chores that you need to accomplish will help to set those intrusive thoughts free. Having a checklist of everything you need to get done will help you to see at a glance all that must be got through by the end of the day, week, or month. When you can tick each one off, you will experience a great sense of well-being at a job well done. Journaling is another useful strategy. It can be used to great effect to clear your mind and get rid of the clutter that prevents you from moving forward with your life. You may be feeling anxious, stressed, or depressed about situations in your life. Keeping notes in a diary or journal will help to bring some clarity to the situation, put it into perspective, and enable you to find a way forward. It will also help you to release the tension that builds up when you're unable to express yourself and unleash the feelings that are causing you misery. Journaling also helps you to spot patterns in your life. It helps you to identify precisely what makes you feel miserable, stressed, angry, or anxious. You can take action to avoid those triggers or address them in a healthy way the next time those situations arise. Learn to let go. It can be hard to learn how to let go since many of us are raised in an environment where we cling on to things, whether those be possessions, emotions, or relationships. Unfortunately, this tends to apply to both the positive and negative ones. Everyone will go through times in their lives when they feel unhappy, angry, or frustrated. This is completely normal and is something that cannot be avoided. Nor should it be. The key to overcoming those feelings, though, lies in how you deal with them. Do you dwell on them and ruminate over them repeatedly? Or do you find a way to release them from your mind and let them go? Mental clutter and chaos can ensue if you don't let go of the negative emotions and feelings that you're clinging on to for dear life. The longer you spend focusing on them, the less time and energy you have available for the positive emotions that you need to get the most out of life. While all this makes sense, it can be harder than you imagined to let go of those negativities. So here are a few expert tips to help you. Face the pain. If you're feeling anxious or stressed, your knee-jerk reaction will be to protect yourself and hide from the emotional upheaval. However, you need to go through the negativity to begin the process of recovery. If you delay the process, you'll never be able to completely overcome what you're feeling. Don't lie to yourself. Identify every part of the negative emotions you're experiencing. Don't try to convince yourself that things aren't as bad as they could be. Instead, acknowledge it, recognize it, and then accept it. Remember, nothing will last forever. Negative emotions are stronger than positive ones, but you must bear in mind that no matter how bad it feels, they won't last forever. Self-reflect. Don't get trapped in a negative downward spiral. Reflect on what's happened and work out how you can avoid descending into a pit where more bad things will inevitably happen. Don't fear the future. Although you have negative emotions now, the future is bright and you can rise up and embrace it only after you let these negative feelings go. Avoid multitasking. We're all trying to juggle more than at any other time in history, so it isn't too surprising that we all try to multitask. Yet this isn't as helpful as you might imagine. Multitasking will make you less, not more, productive. Evidence has shown that if you shift between tasks, you can waste as much as 40% of productive time. While you feel like you're achieving more, the chances are that you aren't. If you put all of your focus on one task, it will be completed more efficiently and also more effectively. Multitasking has a negative impact on the quality of the output you produce. It's even been shown that multitasking impacts negatively on the way your brain works, slowing it down and making it less efficient. That means you need to eliminate unnecessary distractions that are causing your mental clutter and narrow down your focus to the task in hand. Make decisions and stick to them. When you're able to make a decision and stick to it, you can really weed out the indecisive clutter and chaos that fills your head when you haven't planned a specific course of action. While it may sound simple to make a decision, the reality isn't always that easy. Many of us waver between possibilities and struggle to come down on one side or the other when there are two different options. The key to effective and decisive decision-making is to focus on what's really important and to bear in mind that gratification will almost certainly not be immediate. You must be self-disciplined once you've committed to a course of action and not be tempted to fall at the first hurdle. If you don't stick with the decision you've made, you'll never be able to achieve a clear mind and take back control of your life. Be kind to yourself. If you're to truly organize your mind and find inner peace, you'll need to learn to start being kind to yourself. While most of us agree that kindness brings better quality to your life, many of us still fail to show ourselves the self-care that makes us happier and more positive. But what does being kind to yourself actually mean? How does it look in practice? Essentially, you'll have to learn how to nurture yourself. After all, you can't rely on kindness being shown to you by strangers, but you can always show it to yourself. Being kind to yourself means looking after your own physical and mental well-being. It means having disciplined health habits and living a balanced lifestyle. This comes in the shape of getting enough quality sleep, taking exercise to strengthen your muscles, keep your heart healthy and help you stay flexible, and drinking plenty of water. It means going to the doctor if you experience a health problem, and adopting healthy coping mechanisms to get you through the challenges and stresses of everyday life. Remember, too, that being kind to yourself is an ongoing process. It doesn't mean taking a couple of days to nurture yourself if you're feeling especially low or distressed. It means taking regular time every day and week to look after your well-being. Don't wait until you're sick to care for yourself. Don't wait until you're exhausted before you take a break. Prevention is better than cure, so make sure you adopt a maintenance self-care regime. No matter how hard we try to keep a clear head, it's inevitable that we'll all experience mental clutter from time to time. However, the key to happiness and taking back control of your life is to find effective ways to achieve clarity and to get rid of all that chaos in your mind to find a positive way forward. Clutter comes in many forms, from physical mess in the home or workplace to emotional baggage that you lug with you wherever you go. Clutter can even come in the form of toxic friendships. Someone who's supposed to care for you may only cause you more anguish and distress instead of happiness and positivity. In this video course, we've looked at the many ways that you can take steps to organize your life in all its various facets. We've looked at how you can begin to declutter your home so that you can live in an organized, welcoming, and positive environment. We've also examined how you begin to organize your workplace, both in terms of physical items and virtual clutter in your inbox and on your desktop. We've even looked at how you can take steps to bring more organization into your life. you can give your schedule an overhaul. Learn how to say no to activities and events that you simply can't fit into your schedule. Identify the things that really matter before adding new commitments into your life. We've addressed how you can limit your social media usage to help you become more productive and less caught up in the mental stress of comparing your life to that of other people. We've even examined how you can spot a toxic friendship and how you can then go about dealing with it while also helping to nurture and nourish the positive relationships in your life. Finally, we've considered how you can clear the clutter in your head. Use strategies like writing lists and journaling to get the feelings and emotions out of your brain and onto the page. Letting things go, avoiding multitasking, and being as kind as possible to yourself are all vital components in taking back control of your life. It will allow you to move on to a positive, organized future.